My boss collected money from our coworkers to buy me condolence flowers, but she gave me a $25 Starbucks gift card instead, so I made sure to make her the talk of the town. Unfortunately, 7 weeks ago, my dear grandmother passed away at 91. A coworker of mine told me our supervisor collected money from our team for flowers as condolences for her death. No flowers were delivered from my supervisor and team to the funeral home. 2 weeks after the funeral, I found out a florist in town didn't deliver all their orders for my grandmother's funeral. I sent my supervisor a text explaining the flower mix-up we had experienced. In the text, I told her I was worried about not sending my gratitude to her and the team, as I never got the flowers. Also, I wanted to make sure she and the team were not out of money because of the inept florist. I included my appreciation for her and the team's thinking of me. My supervisor replied she didn't order any flowers for the funeral, telling me not to worry, and thankfully, they were not lost. Instead, she planned to send something else to my new husband and me as a condolence. Then she added a flippant, "Sorry, I haven't gotten there yet." Now, it has been 7 weeks since my grandmother's passing and 4 weeks since I sent the text about the flowers to my supervisor. My supervisor didn't follow through with sending my team's condolences for the death of my grandmother. My husband and I have not received anything from my supervisor or the team, but my boss still has their money, which is technically theft. Should I go to HR? What should I say? My boss didn't take my money, but she did take my coworkers' money and didn't send their condolences. Do I tell HR I'm being treated unfairly, as my boss didn't send me condolences like she has to others? She's made sure to send prompt bereavement gestures, within 2 weeks, for my coworkers with the family losses they've experienced in the past. It's not like it's required or expected for her or my coworkers to send condolences, though it is considerate. Going to HR will worsen our already challenging relationship, and they will support her. HR will see it as personal, and she was just forgetful. She may get a small slap on the wrist, but I will pay as big as the employee who snitched on her. Do I ask her again about sending the flower/gift? It already felt awkward when I contacted her about the flowers, especially after her dismissive response. Also, I'm unsure how to approach it because it's a gesture of caring and other people's money I'm asking her about. It just feels icky. Many people tell me to let it go, but others say she committed theft and that I should report her to HR. What do you think is the best way to handle the situation? Update. I talked to 2 of my most trustworthy coworkers. One told me she thought my supervisor was sending the flowers for my grandmother's funeral. I told them I had not received any condolences from my boss on their behalf and expressed my gratitude for their contributions when my grandmother passed. Both asked me if I felt they should mention anything to our supervisor. I told them that it was up to their discretion. I stopped there and decided not to pursue anything with HR. I felt like it was more important to move on. At least I could say thank you to my closest colleagues. Then, before our first staff meeting of the 2023 new year, our team chatted about our upcoming plans. I said my husband and I would visit Florida in a few weeks to see my parents. This included visiting with my grandfather, who, at 90, decided to live in Florida with my parents after losing my grandmother. I had mentioned this new living situation to my supervisor and colleagues before this meeting. I kid you not, after I shared my upcoming plans, my supervisor asked me, "How's your grandma doing in Florida?" I quickly and rather coldly replied, "My grandmother has passed." My supervisor got bright red and tried to cover her tracks by saying, "Oh yeah, I meant your grandpa." I got confused for just a moment. I said nothing more. I didn't even acknowledge her clumsy attempts to correct herself. An uncomfortably long pause of weirdness loomed over the room before conversation resumed. My most confidential coworker afterward told me how cringy it was to witness. My supervisor knew she had inconsiderately asked me about the well-being of a dead person. On top of that, she knew she was sitting on money collected to give the team's condolences for my grandmother's passing. At the beginning of March, I received a text from my supervisor stating, in a very professional manner, "I am so sorry. I just realized I have been remiss in sending a condolence gift from our team for your grandmother." Included was a $25 gift card to Starbucks. I sent the following text of gratitude to the team's texting thread. "Thank you, everyone, for the $25 gift card to Starbucks in memory of my grandmother passing in October. I appreciate the thoughtfulness." Only 5 months later, my supervisor finally produced the gift after sticking her foot in her mouth. In the end, she made good on her responsibility and promised to our team to provide a gift on their behalf. However, not before embarrassing herself in front of her team and allowing me to point out her massive tardiness.